Welcome to Markets of Sunshine, and today's video we're going to be talking about stitching through the season, slow stitching. What does that actually feel like to you? And what does it mean to each one of us? So we're going to talk about slow stitching from a little bit of a different angle today. So instead of thinking of projects that maybe we're going to be making in a certain theme, like for a season or for an occasion, we're going to be talking about when we decide to do a project and what feeling does it give us. So I hope you will enjoy this video today, and I'm going to be taking you along with me as I assemble in different slow stitching projects. And when I get all done with it, then I'll show you what they actually are. So I don't want to give it away. I want you to follow along and see if you can figure that out. And I have a little bit of a different camera angle today, if you notice. Usually I have the camera up here on the tripod over my desk, so you're looking straight down at this small area. So now you're looking at a fuller view of my work surface and supplies that I have here that I use all the time. And then you're looking out my window, and this is what I get to see when I'm in my craft room office working and enjoying just putting together customer orders or making a video for you. And here at Markets of Sunshine, I want you to be able to learn how to connect with yourself through your creative projects. So that's what my channel is all about. This is not just learning another DIY project. This takes on more meaning for us because we're a mature audience. I am talking to a mature audience here. I know who watches my channel, and we're experienced women. We have experienced life already. We've been through a lot already. So I'm going to go ahead and just start working, and then I'm going to take you with me on the journey, like I said. And when I assemble each of these slow stitching projects, then I will show you what it is that I'm working on and how I go about it. And it's a feeling that I use, and it's something that I pass on to my customers because I attract like-minded people, and I put my heart and my love and my authentic self into everything that I do. And so I think this is a fun way for you to approach your projects for yourself. Tap in to your authentic self, who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and put aside everything else. Don't let any label be attached to the project. And if it's making it for an occasion, beautiful. If it's for a season, beautiful. Specific person, beautiful for yourself. And put that feeling into it. And then every project will become more meaningful to you, and it will turn out better and better and better as you go. Okay, so I'm going to get busy working here, and like I said, I'm going to take you along with me on the journey. Okay, so I just finished assembling all of the supplies to make this adorable little traveling needlebook house kit. Isn't it adorable? Cute as can be. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so that's all of the supplies right here. So I'm going to put them in the little bag. So this is such a beautiful kit, and I love putting my heart and soul, my feeling, my love into each of these kits. And so the next one is this beautiful country theme needlebook, and I've already stitched the cover, and then there's a piece of felt on the inside. So now I just need to add a beautiful button And I like to put a larger button and something a little darker. So I'm going to use this one here. It's a gorgeous color. And to me, that just really puts, so much love and character into this. It's just really beautiful. Very, very fun. Just an amazing little kit. And then next, I'm going to be working on my beaded heart. So I'm going to get a piece of felt or batting. I usually like to use the batting, so I'm going to take this. And I'm going to get my heart template. So speaking of putting your heart into something, so I really love making this one. And I use a variety of vintage fabrics and then a thin piece of lace and trim like this. And it just really turns out so darling. So I'm going to start working on that, and then I'll show you the results when I get finished with that. Okay, so here we are at the angle that I usually take you along with me when I'm doing any of my projects. So here is the heart template. Now this is what comes in the kit, and like I said, I'm working on an order, so I'm bringing you along with me today, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity for me to talk about stitching through the seasons of our life as we actually are going through the seasons here on the planet. And each season brings along with it its own happenings and feelings in our body. And when you really get connected with how the seasons really do affect us physically, then it makes perfect sense how we feel. And what do we want to do during each of those seasons? So you might already know how each season makes you feel. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But I've come to a place in my life where I have learned a lot about alternative medicine, and Oriental medicine is very much connected to how the seasons affect your body. And if you ever see a practitioner who is well versed in all of the alternative modalities, homeopathic, I mean, it doesn't matter, Oriental medicine, functional medicine, iridology, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And if you get a really good practitioner who can answer questions because they know their field so well, then you are really have an excellent doctor. And I happen to be able to have a doctor like that years ago, back in 2014, and he was a genius. He happened to be on the board of the homeopathic practitioners, I don't even know what you call it other than that, homeopathic board. He was the president for a number of years, and so he never told me that. I found this out later on. He had passed away. I think he was 87 or 8 when he passed away. And so I was very impressed. But he spoke 7 languages fluently. He loved the Bible, so he learned Greek and Hebrew, Aramaic, and other languages. Just absolutely a wonderful, wonderful man. So knowledgeable. I could ask him any question at all. And so he was the one who educated me on how the seasons affect our organs in our body. And he said, start paying attention. So he would ask me, when did I normally get bronchitis? And so then when I would explain to him, and then he would explain to me, okay, well, according to Oriental medicine, this is what happens. This is the transition of the body according to the seasons, how each organ is affected, what it does, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I always had it was like a mini medical course every time I went, and my appointments were like 2 hours long. So it was really fun. I loved it. So anyway, bringing us back to the crafting projects. So just depending on how deep your knowledge goes into medicine, natural medicine, all these kinds of things, all the like journaling, why journaling is so important, and everyone should be journaling. So writing of some sort. Writing is very important. Just the act of handwriting is very, very therapeutic to the brain. It does a lot of things in the brain. And everything we do with our hands, and especially because we're moving our hands like this, we're reaching across, we're getting things. Oh, I'm over here, but now I need something over here, and I'm here, and oh, I need something over here. Every time we do that, this is stimulating the brain, believe it or not. So every time we cross over our hands to get something, we are stimulating our brain, and it's a wonderful thing. It keeps us from going into cognitive decline. And generally, people who stay active in some sort of creative process have lower events of dementia and Alzheimer's and things of that sort. People who just retire and then they get lazy and they stop doing things, those are the people who usually get the cognitive decline sooner. Okay, so here I'm going to take you along with me how I make these hearts. Okay, so in any of my products, you can find the link to my shop in the description box below. Okay, so I like to start off with the batting, like I mentioned, and then I am going to just pick it up. I'm going to bring this up to the edge, corner here. And then I save this little bit of scrap batting. I put it in my little snippet scrap bucket. And then it can be used for smaller little projects where I want to put a little bit of batting behind something that I'm working on. And my bucket is overflowing. I want to go through it. I have lace and I have fabric and I have felt and I have batting. So I really need to go through it. But I love to be able to pick it up and know that, oh, if I need a little piece of lace, it's right there. If I need a little piece of this, it's right there. So I don't want to separate it into other containers, because then that means, oh, now I got to go get the lace container. Now I got to go get the batting container. Now I got to go get the fabric container. But if I have it all together, much easier. Okay, so this is going into the kit. So I'm just putting these together here, and then this is the stick and stitch embroidery pattern. So several of my kits, the majority actually, but not all, come with the embroidery pattern and the embellishment, the cardstock embellishment, so that you can make your own and then do the embroidery. You have a separate embroidery pattern. So it's actually like 2 kits in one. So you're getting the embroidery pattern to do embroidery separate, or you can do the embroidery on your slow stitching, whatever you kit that it is, and then the template. So you can make more hearts. Okay, or flowers or tiny houses, whatever it is. So now I want to take the fabric, and I like to do a really pretty patchwork on this. And I have several kits that are in the pink color theme, and so the heart is one of them. And so I always use 2 or 3 shades of pink for the heart. So let me get my pink fabric out. Okay, so I am going to just pick out a few of these, and I think I want to use this. That would be really pretty. I think I'm going to use this one down here, and then use 2 hearts up there. Oh, I mean 2 pieces. So this is how I do it. So you get to see my whole process of what Marcia does when she's putting these things together. Okay. So like I said, I like to do a patchwork. Okay. And we're going to do some stitching by hand. This is not anything that I need to do on the sewing machine. Trying to see how far down I can come. All right, so I think this is going to be okay right here. All right, we're going to have to cut into that part. Lay this right here. So that gets stitched right there, and then this gets stitched right here. So I need to fold that over there, like that. First, I'm going to stitch these two together. All right. Just going to use white embroidery floss. And it's approximately a 1/4 inch seam allowance that I'm trying to do. Keeping it lined up. These turn out so amazing because each one of them is always different. I never use the same exact fabrics. I go in my stash, I look and see, okay, what do I want? I am watching this line that I'm like, I should have stitched it on the other side so that I could stay on a straight line. And I'm like, wait a minute, my line is going wee. Let's see if I can get it a little bit going in the right direction now. A little bit straighter. Okay, so there's that. And then I lay it here, and then it's going to be like that. Okay. I am happy with how that is turning out, so I'm going to go ahead and put a knot right here. Okay, now I have to stitch this to the other piece. So I'm going to move it over. This one goes here, so we have to put this here. same thing here. And I should have measured, which I'm going to do that in a minute, so I'm going to have to rethread my needle, and when I do that, then I'll measure it. Try to line this one up. Keep it a little bit in line. Now when I do the beading on here, I use a very small needle eye and thread. I do not use floss. And it really gives it a nice effect to your slow stitching project. And you can do this, you can add this on any of your embellishments, any of your slow stitching that you're doing. It doesn't just have to be on a particular applique piece. I've added it to my landscaping pieces, so if you remember back, if you've been watching my channel for a while, when I did the landscaping pieces, I added seed beads, and it really looked nice. I'm going to just go ahead and go over, finish this whole piece here, and then I am going to do one of my friends sent me a cute meme today, a little text message. Those images, people send, those are called memes. And it was, she's in her 70s, so she's a bit older than me. And so she's like, I bought me a pair of memory foam shoes, and now I don't, to help me not to forget why I got up to go to the kitchen. Oh, it made me laugh, and I thanked her. I said thank you for that, because that was really cute. I said that was really cute. That one was well done. Whoever came up with that. So I thought I would share that with you all. Oh, this is going to be so pretty. Okay, so now at this point is when I get the pins out. So then I pin the fabric to the batting, so that then I can turn it over and trim it up. Okay, so we're going to start here at this corner. That right off. That's going to go in the scrap bucket. Such a pretty fabric. I only had a little bit of that left. So I'm happy that I'm able to use it for this. This is really going to be pretty. She's really going to love it. Really going to love it. So these go into the scrap bucket. And I don't know how I managed, but I managed to do it where the butterfly didn't get chopped off. Managed to keep his wing, so it's oh, that looks so pretty. Doesn't that look pretty? Okay. I'm going to bring this up here now and get the piece of lace. And I usually, so this is how I either put it here at this seam, or I put a little piece here at this seam. thinking, I don't know. I might do both. Oh, that is so pretty. Okay, so, and I don't know. I don't want to cover up the butterfly. So I'm thinking this direction here. I like that. That looks really pretty. Okay, that I like. And I'm thinking I may use a different piece here. But it has to be the thin lace, because this is small, so you don't want to use wide lace. And I'm almost thinking I want white instead of the cream. So let me go over to my lace container and see if, or do I have one here? Let's see. This one might work. I don't know. Let's see. No, I think that's wider than I want, really. Yeah. Okay, let me go rummage. I shall be right back. I don't think it's anything right there. Okay. Then. I know I have one that is really pretty, very thin. Have to go and look at that one. Let's see. This is not. Oh, that might work. Oh, this one might work. Okay. Let's give this one a whirl. Okay. Let me grab my drink. Okay. I wanted white. This definitely looks good. Hold it right there. Trim it right there. Okay. Bring that over. Hold it and trim it right there. Perfect. Okay. Really good to have all different widths of lace. And I was blessed with a friend who knew a friend. And she had gotten a lot of fabric and lace and buttons from a friend of hers who was, I think, like in her 90s and could no longer do any of her crafting. And so she called up my friend and said, hey, I've got all this, do you want it? And so she called me and I'm like, oh. So we went over there. I mean, it was like, I was like a kid in a candy store. It was so exciting. You know, and you know what I've been practicing of late is more and more and more. So this was a while ago, but I've been practicing gratitude for a long time. Years. You've heard me talk about, you know, how important that is in our life and how much that means to me. You know, my gratitude journaling. You know, I've been doing that for years. So I've been always, when I make my junk journals and things, I'm always thinking of the gratitude. Writing that down every day. And so when you have a grateful heart, when you really start to feel grateful for everything in your life, good things start to come to you. More and more and more and more good things come to you. It's not like what's the word? Okay, it's not like, okay, well, that's going to prevent anything, you know, bad or or not good, let me put it that way, from you know, everyday life. Everyday life is still going to happen. But you're going to see things from a different lens. It's like every day, instead of putting on your depression, anxiety, negative glasses. let's just word it that way. You're putting on your happy, positive, grateful glasses. And when you do that and your mindset, you shift that and you start looking for the good and what you're grateful and thankful for every day, your brain changes and you will become happier. Your depression will go away. It will become less and less and less noticeable. It will affect you less and less and less. And then the next thing you know, you are a happy person. And even when things happen that aren't happy, you can be happy because you're like, okay, let me look for the good in this. What can I say? What can I find out of this situation that is good? And then you can also decide, you know what? No, I'm no longer going to speak of things that are not happy and that are depressive and depressing. And when you do that, that's when your brain really changes. When you tell people, no, I'm sorry, I'm no longer in that camp. I don't want to talk about sad, depressing things. And then people will learn. It takes them a while. It does take them a while. They'll say, but wait a minute, I need to just tell you this one thing. And you're like, no, not even the one thing. Go find somebody else who will understand and want to hear that. But I just am no longer going to be a recipient of that. And then they get the point. And then when you explain to them why, and that is for your own health benefit, it's to help you. You're not condemning them in any way, shape, or form. It's to help you. But by you doing that and you speaking of it and how important it is, then it will affect people. It starts to rub off on people. So it's amazing when you see this transformation come over your little circle of friends. Then it's like, wow. So we can influence people around us and they can influence us. So who you hang out with, have you heard this saying before? Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. So your friends are a powerful influence on you. So if you hang out with negative, sad, depressed people, you're going to be negative, sad, and depressed. It's just that way. So you have to either help them to get out of that way of thinking and doing, or you have to get new friends. It's as simple as that. And people who just want to say, oh no, this is the way I am, I've been this way, I can't help it, those are the people that you need to move on. You need to just say, okay, that's fine, I understand. Don't judge, but just move on. Those are the people you call once or twice a year. And when you're in a really good mood and in a good frame of mind because you know it's going to be a depressing conversation. Poor, pitiful me. So that's the way it always is. Always wanting to wallow in self-pity. I've been there. I am not judging, like I said, but I'm out of that camp. Marcia is no longer in that camp. And from time to time I get there. I do go there again. But I quickly get myself out of it. I'm like, nope, look for the good, look for the good. I even made up my little song. You can go back and watch that video. It's under my podcast playlist. So, and it's amazing at how much it works. Okay, so look at how pretty this is turning out. So this is a cream fabric background here. So I put the cream lace here, and then this white here, and then this is just a soft pastel pink. This is more into the mediums. And so I just wanted to tone that, but just cheer it up a little bit more. It needed cheering up. And so that's where this white lace, eyelet type lace I'm using. So now I'm going to stitch this lace in place. And you don't have to go crazy with your stitching because this is not something that's going to be washed. It's going to go on a project, and So you can do minimal light stitching on it is what I call it. So, and any kind of an applique thing, you know, if you're going to put it on like a quilt or anything that you're going to wear, then you need to make sure you're going to stitch it appropriately, a little bit more secure, but anything like that should definitely be hand washed or on the delicate cycle. So now I can take out the other two pins. All right, now I don't need to do any other stitching yet at this point, but I will do a blanket stitch around the edge and then the seed bead. So I'm not going to, it takes way too much time on camera to do all that. And so, but I just wanted to show you the basics. So as I'm finishing up the blanket stitch, I'll show you the progress. When I start the seed beads, I'll show you the progress, and then I'll show you the final reveal of this, and then this will finish up this kit. So this was a really fun project. I loved coming up with this, and so I'm going to go ahead. I usually use, I'm debating, yeah, I'm going to use a pink. I like to use the pink because that really makes it stand out pretty. I'm going to put a knot right here, and then I will re-thread the needle, do a couple of blanket stitches. If you're not familiar with a blanket stitch, then I'll show you that. Let me grab another needle here. Okay, let me see. This looks like one of my ones that I might use. No, this is a, I'm going to cut this off of here. I thought this was small for the bead stitching, but it is not. It's got a bigger eye on it. Let me see if I can find the ones. I think I have it in a, oh my, well, no, this one's still, that one might be, no, I don't think that one is. No, that's still, it could be. I'll have to test it out. If the seed bead goes through the eye, then it's the one. Okay, now let's look and see which color pink. I don't want it to be dark, so let's go with this one. This one looks nice. This looks like what I want. Okay. Can't quite tell what's going on here. It almost looks like there's two. Yeah. Huh. I was gonna say, wait a minute. It looks like two sets here. Okay, this is part of one. I don't know. The way they put this together. And then when I go to need to start it, it's like, oh no, it's not the one I needed. It's taking it from the middle. And it all gets like this. That's okay. All right, so let's thread this one and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the pink. How I do it, make it very simple, is come in from the back, you have the loop, and then keep the loop straight, bring it down, put your needle through from the front, and you're making a little stitch, border stitch right along the edge. So come in from the back. I always come in from the back. And then close to the edge, but not too close. Keep the loop straight. Come in from the front. Catch the loop. See? Now you got the little border going around. And you can make your stitches whatever size you want. Getting a Whole Foods order today, and so did I get a knot here? Yes, I did. Oh, no, don't do that to me. Not, don't do that. Okay, let's see if I can get this little guy to come out of there. Oh, goodness gracious. Of course. Going in all different directions, and I wasn't paying attention. There we go. I just didn't panic. I just was like, wait a minute. See, did I do that wrong? First of all, let's let the needle dangle and get the little twisty going on out of there. Put my finger back in there. And I can get going in all different directions, and then it starts to twist on me, and I'm not paying attention. And then the next thing you know, there you go. See? That didn't take long, did it? I keep it pulled tight. I don't want to. Yes, I keep getting myself turned around. Loop it from the front. There we go. Now, pull this over a little bit. Lined up straight. Now I want it right here near the end. There we go. Okay. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to hold on to it. I have this little rolling cart that we use for the groceries, and then I usually have to go out there, but we usually have a table available. But I forgot to tell my husband. I didn't even really plan ahead that I was going to place the order, and then I realized I needed some things, and I was like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and place the order. And there was no table cleared off, and so I was like, oh boy. So I said, oh, my cart. So I ran and got the cart, and then put a note on it. Hopefully they'll see it. And I said, can you please put the bags in this cart? And then it's got a handle, and then all I have to do is pull it to the kitchen and take them out one by one. I don't have to lift all those heavy bags and put them in the cart myself like I usually do. I just usually get them off the table and then put the lightest ones in there, and then the heavier ones, then I just take the items out one by one and go to the kitchen so that I'm not having to bend over. That's not wanting to twist on me. I don't know. Will I have enough to actually finish this? That would really be good. I might be able to. I'm really surprised. I didn't even think about that when I cut the link. But I think it is. I really do. Let me pull this down a little bit. I just think it is going to be enough. Isn't that wonderful? You see, look at how that turned out. That turned out good. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, I'm going to go in here. There Oh my goodness, is that gorgeous? Absolutely charming as it can be. Okay, now I'm going to come over here, put a knot back here. Ta-da! Beautiful. I love it. What do you think? I love that little bit of the butterfly and the script. Little bit of script going on right there. Isn't it just gorgeous? I mean, I'm just over the moon with this thing. Okay, now what I do is I get my seed beads out and I use a combination of the white iridescent looking ones and then the real white ones, which I'm almost out of these, and then I get the medium pink and then the lighter pink, real pretty, and then the darker. Isn't that pretty? Okay, sometimes I'll use a combination. I'll put green in there, but I'm not going to go with green today. I don't think I want green. Now, $50 million question is that needle going to work? So, this is what I'm going to do. Because I think I'm going to have to think about it. Let me think. Let me look over here for a quick second and see, nope, where I put my little needle holder with all my other needles. No, it's not in there. I made this little, okay, so this is what we're going to do. So this is how I do it. Okay, you get a few of them out, and you get pull that out of there. Okay, so you use the point, obviously, and you put the seed bead. Ah, perfect. If it can slide off the other end, then that's the one you want. Okay, so now that's step one. You don't want to thread it and then only come to find out later that, oh no, that doesn't slide through there. Okay, then next you want your regular sewing thread. So this is, I got to make, oh no, hand quilting, see? No, quilting? But this doesn't look thick. I think I have one that's open. Let me see. Okay, let me go get the ones that are open. Yeah, this is the quilting. You don't want quilting thread. Cotton hand sewing thread is fine. I don't even know what happened here. This has gotten all discombobulated. Oh, I don't even know if I could. Oh, there's the end. Okay. I don't even know what's happening with this. With these threads, they're getting out of control. Okay, this one here it is. Okay. Yeah, all purpose. Okay, this is all I want. This is all I need. Now, let's see. Because this is a really, really tiny eye, it's a little tricky to thread. So I'm going to hold it up here so I've got the light over my shoulder. And then hopefully I can get that to cooperate. I'm going to have to breathe. Get a little bit of moisture. When it's too dry. Oh, nope. Okay, let's see if we can do it with this. I don't even know where my other little needle threader is. The one that you push the little button, you know. Oh, there we go. All right. And you do want double strand on this. Okay, so I always get a good length. I do not want to be having to start again. Cut it right here. And I had 3 spools of thread right here. Do you think I could see that? No. Add some over to the left, and that was what I was looking at. Okay. And that also was in my mother's stash and from her estate, and then my friend that gave me all those. Okay, so here we are. So I'm going to pick up, and now this is the other bugaboo. Okay, so you get your 2 or 3 or 4 beads on the needle. This is what I'm going to do here. I usually hold them in my hand, but since they were here, that's why I'm just picking them up. Okay, now. And then you see, are they going to go through? Okay, they look like they will. All right, but the first thing you want to do, start from the back. Don't put your beads on yet. Start from the back. Trying to see where I want to do this starting at. Okay. I usually do this sitting on the couch. It just either spending quality time with myself, as I mentioned in yesterday's video. If you didn't happen to see that, go back and watch it. And, oh, see, perfect. They all did, yay! Okay, so I do generally about 4 at a time. And then you want to hold them, get them where you want them, and then right in front of it, make sure you don't go through the split of the thread, and you just secure it, okay, and then you decide how much space do you want between your sections, okay, and then what do you want your next color to be? It's as simple as that. I mean, it's not hard. This is not rocket science, people. This is mindfulness sewing, slow stitching. Okay, so now I'm going around this curve. Come up to the curve, so that's why I only did 4. And now I'm going to go around the curve. Okay. Whoop. Oh my goodness. I don't want to do that. And now we have 5 here. Aren't these pretty? Look at how pretty those are. Just gorgeous contrast with the fabric. And just go right there at the end of the beads. Holding your little beads in place. And secure that next little section. Simple as this. Just like, but I always do the blanket stitch first. Because I've done it both ways to see, does it really matter? And yes, it does matter. So if you don't do your blanket stitch first, I got a little knot right there. That's okay. Then you, depending on how you space your beads, then you're going to be splitting in the beads to try to do your blanket stitch. So I've done that before. Okay, so basically, so you see what I'm doing. So I'm going to finish this up, and then I'll be back and show you the final finished heart, beaded heart. Okay, so here is the final preview of this beautiful little beaded heart, and I finished it up with a beautiful fuchsia dark pink button. I put a cute little light pink flower, a couple of little pearl drops scattered about, and I think this really just is the icing on top to this little beaded heart slow stitch kit. And then the heart template and the embroidery pattern are going to go in the bag here, and then working on the rest of this. And here's just a little sneak peek of the customer is going to receive my Sunshine Stitch Times newsletter. So I hope that this was very enjoyable for you, and I want to talk about next week's video, because every week, as you know, is a different theme. And so I'm going to be working on that. So I hope you enjoyed this week's theme. Let me know in the comments what you thought about it. And do you ever think about stitching through the seasons of your life, not just the seasons of the weather? Okay, so let me see here. I'm looking. Okay, so next week's video theme is Minimalist Masterpiece. And we are going, Linda and I, because I'm doing this challenge, remember, with my friend Linda over at Icky Chic, and we're challenging each other to only use 3 to 5 items to either do a textile art or journal art. And so that's going to be a fun theme, and I hope you'll stick around for that, because sometimes, you know, we just want to do the small projects. We don't want to take on something big. Like today, my heart is definitely would classify in that minimalist masterpiece, don't you think? I think so. So how many things did I use? I used 1, 2, 3 different fabrics, 2 pieces of little lace, so that's 5. The beads would be considered 6. The button would be 7. And the stitching is just extra. So, but I mean, this is definitely a minimalist masterpiece. It's very, very simple and easy to do, and anyone can do it. But don't you just love how the collaging patchwork adds to the charm instead of just one solid piece of fabric? It's just, that's the game changer here. Okay, well, I will see you in next week's video, and gather your supplies, join Linda and I, and stay safe and smiling, and keep creating in the sunshine. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.